Hi guys, welcome to this tutorial. We are starting with the upper part of this dress. Now I'm going to use my nipple to nipple measurement to divide by 2 plus ½ inch to get a straight line. I'm going to mark it like so all the way down, and then I'll connect it with a ruler. So the next thing we are going to do is to rule out our lines. I'll remove 5 inches for the shoulder, off shoulder, and then I'll get my chest line. Then the bust point, under bust, and my full length plus 1 inch sewing allowance. I'm going to connect the lines now. This is the armhole line, serving as the chest line. This is the bust point line, under bust, half length line, and then this is the sewing allowance. We are going to get our shoulder measurement. Then this is the bust measurement. I'm going to take the same measurement to the bust point and the under bust. I've been making use of this to sew my clients' clothes, and it's been working perfectly for me. No one has ever complained about their dress. So this is the waist measurement. Remember, you're going to divide everything by 4. So at the waistline, I'm going to go in by 1 inch. I'm going to go out by 1 inch. At the bust point, I'm coming down by ½ inch. I'm going up by ½ inch to eliminate a pointed edge. At the under bust, I'm going out by 1 inch, going in by 1 inch. So I'm going to connect the lines from the half length to the under bust. And I'll connect the line from under bust to meet the ½ inch I went down by. Always make use of your curve ruler to get a nice curve. So at the shoulder, I'm going to go out by 1 inch and go in by 1 inch. Previously, I went out by ½ inch, but it wasn't giving me that nice curve. I had to extend it to 1 inch before I could get a beautiful curve. So the bustier is ready. Now we are going to cut this out. These are the parts we're going to cut out. So I'm going to replace the 2 inches we are cutting out. It's serving as a dart. I'm replacing it. Then I'll add extra 1 inch for joining with the sleeve. If your off shoulder bustier doesn't have a sleeve, there's no need to add that allowance. So I'm going to replace these 2 inches too I'm going to replace it at the underbust, at the breast point, and at the chest line as well. All of them have the same measurement. Like I said before, this is how I cut my bustier, and it's been working perfectly for me. I'm replacing the 2 inches. I'm going to take out as the dart at the waistline as well. So I'm adding my allowance, 2 inches allowance. I'm making use of pattern paper. That's why I'm adding only just 2 inches. If I'm cutting on my fabric, I usually like adding 3 inches sewing allowance because I don't want to run short of measurement. So I advise you to do the same. I'm going to connect the lines now. We're going to get the armhole line. I'm making use of 8 inches. You can make use of 7 inches depending on how you want it. I'm making use of 8 inches. I'll use my curve ruler to connect it now. Before you cut out, if you want to mark out your neckline, you can mark out your neckline. So if you're adding a sleeve to your off shoulder, this is how you connect your armhole. If you're not putting a sleeve, this is how you connect your armhole, just this way. Don't make it go deeper than this. Like I said earlier, if you want to cut out your neckline first before cutting out the dart, it's fine. But I'm cutting out the dart first before I want to cut out my neckline. And make sure you cut out gently and carefully. This is how it looks after cutting. The next thing I'm going to do right now is to cut my neckline. This dress has a V neckline, so let me show you how we'll achieve that. So I'm joining all of them like this, as if I've sewn it. Okay, you can use your tape to pin it down, to tape it down. So I'm taking out the off shoulder 5 inches. Then you can decide where you want your neckline to be. It could be 7, 8, 9. If you want to expose your boobs, fine. Then you connect it this way. Make sure you do not touch where you are attaching the sleeve from, so that you don't affect the measurement of the dress. The neckline is ready. So look at the look. It's more of sweetheart neckline. So the next thing we're going to do is to cut the back. I've folded in 2 inches for my zipper allowance. I'm taking out the 5 inches for the off shoulder, and you make sure you maintain your armhole line. My armhole line is 8 inches. I also maintained it at the back, so I'm going to connect the lines. Now I'll still use my nipple measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch to trace my back dart. I'll trace it all the way to meet the armhole line. So I'm connecting the lines now. I'm going to go out by 1/2 inch, go in by 1/2 inch for the dart. So I want to get my dart and I'm starting from 10 inches. I usually start from 10 inches, from the shoulder to 10 inches to start sewing my dart. And I'll connect the 1/2 inch to meet with the 10 inches that I marked. So when sewing your dart, this is how you sew it. It's time to take the shoulder measurement. Remember, you're going to still maintain the shoulder measurement plus 1 inch joining with the sleeve. You can make it 1/2 inch if you want. And then we are taking our bust measurement plus 2 inches allowance. We are taking our waist measurement. I'm going to replace the 1 inch dart, because by the time you sew it, you'll run short of measurement, so you have to replace the dart. And then I'm adding my extra 2 inches sewing allowance. So I'm going to connect the lines. So the next thing we're going to do is to connect our armhole. Always remember your armhole needs to run with that of the front pattern. So I'm just cutting out to show you. You don't need to cut it out if you're sewing, if you're drafting yours, okay? Don't cut it out. Just sew on it, okay? Keep it this way and run your stitch. Do not cut out. Unless you just want to cut from beginning to the end, but don't cut, okay? Just sew it this way. It's quite easier to sew this way than just to cut out. So I used my pin to pin it out to show you how it looks. Now it's time to split it open. You need to do it carefully. It's time for us to cut our back neckline. If you want to leave it straight this way, fine. Or if you want to go down more, fine. All depends on how you want to expose your back. 5 inches is not that much. So if you want to give it a nice curve, good. If you don't want it, if you want to just leave it straight, it all depends on you. So I'm going down by 8 inches. You can go down by 7, you can go down by 9. Remember, do not touch where you're going to join your sleeve. Okay, make sure you keep that safe. Cut carefully that way. So the back piece is all ready. The next thing we're going to do is to cut the skirt as the lower part. I'm taking out the half length. We'll just cut out to get my hip measurement, which is usually 25 inches, and then I'll get my full length. My full length is 32 plus my 2 inches folding allowance. I'm cutting both the back and front at the same time. I mapped out the zipper allowance. I'm taking my waist measurement plus 1 inch dart and 2 inches sewing allowance. Remember, you are taking the measurement from the front part of this dress, not the back. Exclude the zipper allowance when taking your measurement. Okay, exclude it. Start with the front. So I'm taking my hip measurement as well. I'm doing the same thing, adding my allowance, connecting the lines. You don't need to add that allowance at the hip because that doesn't get to the hip. So I'm going, whatever I got from the hip, I'm going to minus 2 inches from it to make it pencil. If you don't want to make it pencil, whatever you got at your hip, just take it down to the hemline, make it straight. If you want it that way, I want this one to be pencil. Now we are taking our dart, the same thing we did, 4 inches plus ½ inch. And I notched it to know where my dart is starting from. It's time to cut out. It's very easy to cut a skirt. Yeah, this is the front part of the skirt. Remember, before you cut, be sure front side is facing each other. Cut using the wrong part of the dress. Now it's time to split it open. The back piece is usually 2 pieces while the front remains 1. This skirt is ready. So it's time for us to cut the sleeve. This is a puff sleeve. It has elastic both at the shoulder and at the biceps. So this is the measurement I'm making use of in order to get a fuller ruffles for the elastic. I'm taking out the 5 inches for off shoulder, and then I got my full length. So after sewing your clothes, measure your armhole. Then that will determine how many inches you need to cut out plus 1 inch sewing allowance. Let's assume I've finished sewing the dress and I've measured the armhole plus 1 inch sewing allowance. Then just mark it straight because it is a puff sleeve. You don't need to start slanting it. So I'm connecting my armhole now. I'll just leave it straight like I said earlier. This is where the elastic will go through to get your ruffles. If you want to make it fuller, you can extend it. And then I cut out 2 sleeves at the same time. When you put elastic, this is how it will look. And then you need to put elastic here as well. This is how it will look after putting your elastic. Ta-da! Our dress is all ready. Please thank you for watching and do share.